Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at a stop. I thought I was fine, and then once I got home, I realized it's a lot worse than I thought. I ended up having a ruptured disc. You say you're not hurting, and then an hour later, you're saying you're in all this pain. I just felt like most people would think that I was lying. And that's when I decided to call Daniel Stark. I owe a lot to Daniel Stark. They really got me what I deserved.
The difference is stark.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extraco. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference because my stress level, when we shut down, to afterwards was night and day.
Our experience with Extraco has been phenomenal since the very beginning, so we love Extraco.
Tervis is all about staying hydrated with style and durability. You can trust Tervis tumblers to keep your drinks the perfect temperature, hot or cold, for hours. From the classic insulated tumblers to sleek stainless steel water bottles, each product is built to last and comes in endless designs to match your personality. Stay refreshed and express yourself with Tervis. Visit tervis.com today and find your perfect tumbler.
Since our founding, we've been revolutionizing hair removal with cutting-edge technology and a commitment to empowerment. The You-Like Air 3, launched in 2023, ushers in a new era of sapphire ice cooling technology, offering nearly painless hair reduction in just 3 weeks. Experience the future of hair removal today at youlike.com, because at YouLike, beauty is about looking and feeling good. That's ULIKE.com. YouLike. With Ease US, make studio-quality voiceovers for your videos online in over 149 languages and dialects, featuring 468 natural AI voices. Customize the volume, mood, and pauses to perfectly match your content. Plus, capture high-quality videos with no watermark. Record your screen, webcam, and voice, and save them instantly to your computer. Never been easier to create professional-grade videos and voiceovers. Try it today at easeus.com. That's EASEUS.com. Ease US.
Just use AirPace.
AirPace.
The Pete Sousa Show. We are live, coming to you from the 21st floor of the Alico Building, downtown Central Texas in Waco. Scotty Swingler on the wheels of steel today once again, and we are ready to rock and roll, presented by Slovacics. Thank you so much to our good friends at Slovacics. I was driving back from Dallas this morning, and it's always like Monday morning. It's like, you know, cannonball run to get over here. And I drove by Slovacics. And I was like, man, I screwed this up. I should have made more time. So I could have stopped into Slovacics, right? Gotten a kolache, said what's up to Ray, felt the good vibes. That's always just a great way for me to start off the week. But I'm headed back there on Tuesday, and I'm going to stop there. You can guarantee it. If you're in town, you should do the same. Also, don't forget about Socorro Family Ford. If you're in the market for a car, dip your toe in the water with those guys. You might just dive all the way in. Daniel Stark Injury Lawyers and D1 and Crawford Austin Properties also helping us get on the air. We're stoked to be here with you. Couple things we want to talk about off the top. We're going to talk about the NBA. I want to talk about Caitlin Clark. I'm already mesmerized. And then we're going to get with D1 softball's Eric Lopez in the second segment. I'm headed to Oklahoma City on Tuesday night for the Big 12 tournament that starts Wednesday. A lot of excitement around that. I get to call the series with Kat Osterman, which is like, you know, she's just legendary. To share time with her on calls with some of these coaches yesterday doing the prep, it's just like, you know, she's amazing. And as a play-by-play guy, before I do like a major tournament like this, there's a lot of prep that's required. But one of the things I like to do is you kind of get like reacclimated with your broadcast partner. And, you know, whether it's reading articles or listening to podcasts, you can't be like a weirdo and call her and ask her like all this stuff about her life. And by the way, there's so much stuff about her out there. So I've been listening to some of like, you know, it's just some of the gems out there that describe her career and hearing her discuss her career on podcasts. I always tell this to like young broadcasters doing play-by-play, especially if you're lucky enough to be doing it for whether it's college radio at a school in the Big 12 or maybe a school in the Big 10 or the ACC, or maybe you're doing ESPN Plus games for like, you know, even the American Conference, not even the American, that's a great conference, but you get what I'm saying. There's so much information out there in the podcast medium, so many coaches shows, so many things like the analysts you're going to be working with, maybe talking about their career. That is like, if you like to go outside or hike or jog or anything, you throw one of those things on and you can go for like an hour and 15 minutes. And to me, that's like a key point of my preparation is like listening to podcasts and then of course stopping, putting stuff in there. But yeah, there's a lot of different ways to get ready for games that you're going to call. And that is so advantageous, right? The podcast medium, just all the stuff that is out there. So I was listening to some of the stuff about Kat's career, Kat Osterman, and it's just like amazing. And that 2004 softball team, I think, was probably one of the best ever. I got to work with Natasha Watley last year. It was Natasha Watley, like Jenny Finch, you know, obviously Kat Osterman, Jess Mendoza. The list goes on. Bustos. There's just so many great players. So pumped to talk to Eric Lopez about the Big 12 tournament. Obviously, this is the kind of the time of year when softball just ramps up and goes through the roof. And it's so much fun getting to know some of these players. Arizona State, just kind of digging into their stuff last night. Such an exciting roster. So I'm pumped for the Big 12 tournament. If you can't tell, Eric Lopez is going to drop by. We're going to pick his brain, get set for that, and get set to come down the stretch here in the college softball season. But I got to start with the NBA and the Warriors basically outlasting the Rockets last night and how they did it. You know, I was talking to Bruce Geetson, and Bruce Geetson used to work in Houston, and he was a studio host for the Houston Rockets basketball back, you know, in the Kenny Smith, Hakeem Olajuwon days. I should actually reverse that, right? Hakeem Olajuwon, Kenny Smith days, and Sam Cassell and Robert Horry. And he was talking about how Houston's NBA team plays like Houston's college team. And I was like, wow, that's a great point. And you saw that last night with Amen Thompson and the defense that Houston plays. Now, Thompson pulled up with an injury last night, and I think that once he left the court, it allowed things to open up for Golden State, specifically Steph Curry. I had, again, and I'm not a basketball coach, right? I didn't play in the NBA. I've worked in the NBA, and I've covered basketball and called games. But, like, I'm not, like, inside baseball, right, with basketball. Like, I'm not going to sit here and do the X's and O's with you. But I can tell you that it looked really difficult for Steph Curry to get shots off over the course of the first three quarters last night. You know, he finished the game. Let me see where his line here. He finished with 22 points. I think he had 3 points in the first half and 19 in the second. Yeah, Scotty's giving me the head nod, right? But the guy who I don't think anybody expected to have the game like he did was Buddy Hield. Finished with 33 points. It was only his, I think, 7th playoff game? 11th, including the 4 last year he played in the series with Philadelphia where he just didn't shoot at all. Sounds like he's found a really nice home against the Warriors. And now it's like, okay, the Warriors are advancing. They're going to take on Minnesota. Problem is, these guys are pretty old, and they got to turn around now and play in 48 hours against a rested, explosive, dominant Minnesota Timberwolves team. And I don't like the Warriors' odds. What do you think, Scotty? Scotty's got a big smile over there. What do you got on this one? I don't love the Warriors' odds. I feel like they're going to lose game one. They're already a 6.5 point underdog, and for good reason, right? But can they? And I don't necessarily mean flip a switch because they're already in the midst of a playoff run now. But these guys are veterans. You look at the team on paper and it's like, wow, this is exciting. And then you look at like how old they are and you're like, can they sustain?
I think them being veterans. Let me fix that.
Yeah, no problem, Scott. It's Monday.
I think them being veterans is why I really like them in this series. I think that's why they got the best of the Rockets, and I think that's why they're going to get the best of the T-Wolves.
Yeah.
Bear the Truth says it's because Steve Kerr's at the helm. It's Steve Kerr's year, he says.
One thing I'll tell you about Steve Kerr, and I did you watch the game last night?
I watched bits and pieces.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so the thing I noticed about Steve Kerr, particularly in the second half, and I think that's so underrated, and Russillo and Simmons actually talked about this morning on their podcast, which always feels good when you're thinking something and you get the affirmation that they were thinking it too. He calls timeouts. He calls the best timeouts. Like, when you have a big lead or a bigger lead, especially when you're on the road in a game 7, like I think so often, and especially I see it in college, like doing a game at like Kansas State or BYU, when a team like BYU or Kansas State playing at home starts to put together a run, and before you know it, you're on the road in Manhattan, Kansas, and the lights are going on and off, and they're playing that sandstorm, and you're like, this was a 12-point lead. Now we're down by 1.
Right.
And it's deafening in here, and the environment is just overwhelming. Steve Kerr never lets it get – I mean, obviously the players on the floor do that, but he never seems to let it get to that point, like where it's a 14-point lead. Like I know if this gets down to 6 or 5 that this crowd is going to take over. It's a game 7. Like he knows how to stop the bleeding. Yeah. And I think also it has a lot to do with the connective tissue that he shares with his players, right? Because he's been playing with them for so long. My question for you is, do you think this is and I don't want to be hyperbolic, but I mean, Steph Curry's old, man, like older, you know? What do you think about Steph Curry, and like, does he hit a wall in this series?
I don't know if he hits a wall. I think his style of play allows him to continue being really great no matter how old he is, because he just has to have this much of a window and he's going to hit a shot. Like, so I honestly don't think the age thing is a huge deal for him at this point. What I think the veteran experience, playoff experience of the Warriors is massive as they continue. And I think, if Ant Edwards isn't playing 100%, which he did against the Lakers, like dude had a great series. But if he falters for a couple games, who do the T-Wolves have? Like Julius Randle, I'm like, what are we doing, right?
Yeah.
Whereas you saw last night, Steph struggles. Buddy Hield comes out of nowhere and shoots one of his best, performances
12 of 15
of the season. If Steph falters, Jimmy Butler is still capable of taking over a basketball game, and he is every ounce the dog that Ant Edwards is. Yeah. So I just feel like Golden State has more pieces I trust to elevate to that level, whereas the Timberwolves probably have the best player on the court.
Yes.
But if he struggles, if they can figure out a way to box him in or limit him, what else are they going to do?
A Golden State-Boston rematch would be awesome.
Yes.
That would be awesome.
It would be.
And I felt some of that last night and throughout the series with Ime Udoka, who was like, I am not going to let Steph Curry beat me. Like he had him under lock and key for most of the series. But unfortunately, like you said, for Houston fans, they weren't able to sustain defensively and keep everybody else in check.
And the other thing that Kerr and Steph are so good for each other, they are so good at figuring out how to make Steph effective even when defenses lock him down on the perimeter. Either he figures out how to get into the lane pretty often, or Kerr figures out how to draw up things for other guys or draw up extra screens for him. Like, they always find a way, I feel like, for him to be effective, even if, they're limiting his shots. They've been good at that for a decade now. That's part of their success.
I heard Bob Ryan talking over the weekend about some of the greatest players of all time, and how in his starting five, he would put Curry on the floor. And I
I
don't
would
want to
too.
get into a whole thing.
I would too.
I got to be careful with Scotty about the
No,
LeBron
I would too.
stuff.
No. Steph.
Yeah. He had LeBron coming off the bench, by the way, in his starting five.
Well,
but this is Bob Ryan. We're
that's
talking.
bull,
He's going
but-
back to 1842.
Yeah.
Good-
No, but my argument for Curry's always been in that discussion, and then we can move into the Curry of the women's game.
Yeah.
Is in a game where you score by shooting a basketball, the greatest shooter to ever do it has to be in your short
100%.
list. Like,
yeah, and the way that he spaces the floor for everybody
Dude.
else, it's amazing. What is it, Zach? Zach's in here.
Rockets fan over there. He's
Zach,
just,
any
he's just
any
upset.
comment on the Rockets? Well, they didn't show up last night.
It's obviously it's a bunch of different things, but the team that showed up for Game 7 is not the team that was there for Game 6.
Ah.
Shingun left things short. How many hook shots?
We need to get you on a microphone.
Yeah.
Zach.
Can you get over there to the mic?
Is 3 in there?
Yeah.
3 should work.
Let's go.
Does 3 work?
Yep.
All right,
You're
Zach,
on.
go ahead. So give us a quick recap. This is Zach Burke, by the way, one of the Rogue Media All-Stars. You know who he is. Go ahead, Zach.
For my side of things, I can't knock the Warriors because they did. When somebody was stopped, they stepped up when they needed to. So they had a game plan for it. But the two bigs they abandoned of there for a while that had no answer for most of the series. Whenever Steven Adams, who had a phenomenal series for the Rockets, but Alperen Sengun, who had been amazing all series, I can't tell you the amount of shots I saw short, off to the left, off to the right. You want to talk about it? I don't know if it was Game 7 or if it was he would make the move past Draymond and have the look, and he'd pull up short so many times. But the guy who was the biggest inconsistency for the Rockets the entire series was Jalen Green.
Jalen Green.
You can't have your starting shooting guard average 9 points a game.
Correct.
He had one game. Game 2, he was phenomenal. And he was single digits in
Dude,
everything
he
else after
disappeared
that.
last night. He took 8 shots.
He disappeared in every
The whole
fuck-
series.
excuse me.
Yeah.
He disappeared in every single game but Game 2. What do you mean last night?
Real
He
Rockets
wasn't there
fans there.
anytime. I know he's young. He's going to develop, but the rest of the young core came up. Jabari Smith, who was taken in around the same draft, he has a lot more limited time on there.
Yeah.
Whenever he saw the court, he made the most of it. It's a young core that's going to get better,
Yeah.
but you could show that they were inexperienced and didn't know how to deal with a team like the Wolves.
What about Amen
Well
Thompson? I want to hear your quick take on him.
Oh, that dude's going to be defensive of the year candidate year after year after year. The dude is amazing.
He is so good,
He
right?
is so good. He's the better of the twins, but he is so good too.
Anytime you get Thompson twins, you can get a mention like that, a kid who grew up in the 80s. That's great. One more personal note before we get – this is just a personal thought I've had before we get to I want to talk about Caitlin Clark before we bring on Eric Lopez from D1. Every time I see Steven Adams, and this is like the insecurity as a male, I just got engaged probably in February, been with my lovely fiance for about a year and a half, 2 years now, I guess. And, but when you're dating, you're always like, I wonder who they dated before me, And I've been lucky enough or whatever to date women who have dated like athletes before me because, hey, that's great, whatever, everybody dates. I swear if Christy had dated Steven Adams before me, I don't know that I could come behind that. That guy is such a monster and physical specimen, such a huge, handsome, strong Australian guy. I'd be like, you know what? I'm pretty secure in my own skin. I got no shot.
As a guy that's just getting started on the arm tattoos, I'm very envious of his tattoos.
Oh my God, he is a bad dude. And
Glad he's hilarious too.
Yes.
He's just the total.
yeah, and he's
package.
funny. No thanks, dude. I can't follow that act. You know what I mean? That's like going on stage after Milton Berle. I'm aging myself. That's my father's time. All right, let's get to Caitlin Clark after I relieve you of that awkward topic I just brought up. Look, Caitlin Clark, I didn't watch the game last night. The WNBA is back. I think it was brilliant. I'm not going to sit here and talk to you like I invented women's basketball, but I know I love the game, and I love watching Caitlin Clark, Lord of the Threes, the Return of the Queen. I love it. The fact that she is back on my television set is awesome, right? She's got a brand new coach in Indiana. She's got Dewana Bonner now playing with her, so the team is going to be better. They played in Iowa City yesterday. I've gotten a call game in Iowa. I've gotten to stand where that logo 3 is that she shot, which, by the way, see, you might as well be at half court. She hit a 3 from there. From when you say logo 3, Caitlin Clark in Iowa City, that's like her logo. 36 feet from the basket. They destroyed Brazil in an exhibition. Chicago played a game in Baton Rouge. Brilliant. Haley Van Lath, being able to go. Is it Van Lith or Van Lath? Haley Van Lith going home. Obviously, Kim Mulkey was there. Just a huge deal for everybody around LSU. But Caitlin Clark, when you go back to what she brings this game, I have got to say, I'm like, oh my God, Caitlin Clark's back? That was my thought last night. And I can't wait. And by the way, you don't need to get WNBA, league pass or anything. If you're going to subscribe, please, go ahead and subscribe. They have 35 games on national TV this year. The Indiana Fever do. That is, for me, it's almost appointment television. And last night, not only is Caitlin Clark an amazing player and somebody off the court who young women can admire, and is just so fun to follow. It seems like she just really gets the whole deal, which is a real gift when you have a superstar who just gets it. Because sometimes guys and girls just don't get it. She gets it, but she also understands the theater of it. To be playing a game in Iowa City, to have just enough ego to say, I'm going to pull up from the logo and knock down a 3, right? Just enough. You got to have ego if you're going to be a competitor of her magnitude. But to do that, it's wow. That is amazing. And by the way, I forgot to mention Angel Reese was part of that night in Chicago or in Baton Rouge, right? Playing with Haley Van Lith. Those two play together. So that's awesome. So, of course, you have Angel Reese back in the mix. Her team is getting better. I'm super excited for women's basketball. I'm telling you, and the excitement around Caitlin Clark, I can truly say I am more excited to watch Caitlin Clark play this season in the women's basketball game than I am for any NBA player over the course of the rest of the playoffs. That's the God's honest truth. And I am a huge basketball fan. There's something about Caitlin Clark that I just can't take my eyes off of. And I don't know if it's her confidence. It's part Pistol Pete. It's part Larry Bird. It's part when I'm over half court, I'm in range, right? It's part Steph Curry, like we were talking about. The confidence is second to none. And watching Caitlin Clark play basketball, I find myself spellbound. And I'll compare it to the men's game. And again, I'm not saying if Jalen Brunson and Caitlin Clark played one-on-one, that Caitlin Clark would win every time. But I will say it's way more fun, it's hella more fun to watch Caitlin Clark play basketball than it is to watch Jalen Brunson. And I'm trying to figure out how the hell the Knicks think they're going to beat the Celtics. Because watching them play against Detroit, the Knicks have a lot of really good players, but the Jalen Brunson clear it out at the end of the game. And look, I'm a Villanova guy. Jalen Brunson's Jay Wright's favorite player of all time. That's what he goes on record pretty much saying. Jalen Brunson is a bad dude on the court and a great guy off of it. But I'm not that excited about watching Jalen Brunson play basketball. I'm just not. The Knicks as a team is exciting. The Celtics as a team are exciting. But Caitlin Clark gets me more excited to watch the sport of basketball than any guy in the NBA right now. That's just how I feel about it. And I'm going to bang that drum. I don't want to bang any drum. Who am I to bang a drum? But that is a genuine, authentic feeling that I have. And when I saw her on my television screen last night and I saw the highlights come on, I was like, God damn, Caitlin Clark's back. That is awesome. I didn't feel like that at any point this year about the NBA. Maybe Ant Edwards a little bit, okay? And I think the Luka thing, from a Real Housewives perspective, was a lot of fun to talk about after he got traded. And when you go to see Luka, and maybe also I am spoiled by watching so much NBA basketball that I don't necessarily get lathered up and as excited as I used to watch some of these stars play. And it's not an indictment on LeBron James because he's 40 years old and he still does have that LeBron aura. And it's not an indictment on Luka because of how easy he makes the game look, or Ant Edwards because of how explosive he is. But that's just how I feel. Scotty, any like is that a point that you would refute, or is that a point you respect, or is that a point that you understand and agree with?
Completely understand and agree with it, and I would take it a step further. If the WNBA capitalizes on what she is, it could be the best thing ever for the league.
Yeah.
I don't think they did that last year, by the way.
Really?
No. I think there was so much weird BS about, well, look at all the other great players. And it's like nobody's bashing any other great players.
Yeah.
But she is a once-in-a-generation superstar.
Yeah.
Off the court, as you said,
Yeah.
on the court, certainly. And you just need to own it. You need to own it and elevate her as that.
Yeah.
And I like you, I admire her as a person. I think she's hilarious.
Yeah.
Like when she went on SNL, I lost my mind. Like I think she's great. So I'm with you. I won't turn on the TV for much women's basketball.
Yeah.
But I will for Caitlin Clark.
And she is like a megawatt superstar. So I did an NIT game last year at Iowa, and it was actually on, like, it's rare, but it was on like big ESPN. 7 o'clock. It was one of those times when there was really nothing else on because the NCAA tournament hadn't started yet. And Caitlin Clark was in the stands. She was still at Iowa. She was getting ready to have Iowa women were going to play at home. Obviously, they were hosting. And it was funny. I had this big-time producer on the show with me, and he even thought, okay, we'll get Caitlin Clark. They were like, no, you're not talking to Caitlin Clark. And the reason was it had nothing to do. She wasn't like, hey, they were like, she would love to sit down with you and talk to you. But tonight is about the Iowa men's basketball team. And she does not want in any way to take from that and that celebration. And that's kind of who we're talking about. And I would encourage someone like, if you're a fan of like Angel Reese, like I hope Angel Reese kicks ass this year. I think there would be nothing cooler than like that Bird Magic rivalry to continue to grow between Reese and Clark, but in a healthy, celebratory way that we're talking about this morning. Not like, the negative this and that. Let's celebrate them all, but let's also acknowledge that there's a reason that Caitlin Clark is going to be on national TV 35 times this year, and there's also a reason why I'm going to be sitting on the edge of my seat for 30 of them, hopefully, if I can make that happen. All right, we're coming back. Eric Lopez joins us on the Pete Sousa Show. We are going to talk about the Big 12 softball tournament. I'm going to be there. First pitch is Wednesday afternoon at 2:30 Central Time. The tournament starts. You can watch it on ESPN+. Who's the most exciting college softball player in the country? Eric Lopez is going to tell us on the other side of this break. Pete Sousa Show, presented by Slovakics.
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at a stop. I thought I was fine, and then once I got home, I realized it's a lot worse than I thought. I ended up having a ruptured disc. You say you're not hurting, and then an hour later, you're saying you're in all this pain. I just felt like most people would think that I was lying. That's when I decided to call Daniel Stark. I owe a lot to Daniel Stark. They really got me what I deserved.
The difference is stark.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extraco. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference because my stress level, when we shut down to afterwards, was night and day.
Our experience with Extraco has been phenomenal since the very beginning, so we love Extraco.
I don't know, if Bubble wasn't here, I don't know what people would be doing, like making PowerPoints or something. Bubble allows you to make it real and for it to actually work. So I feel like Bubble bridges that gap and being able to give people the opportunity to make their ideas come to life really quickly too. I love that I can sit down and build something the way that I think it should be built and have the control over it.
Bubble turns ideas into fully scalable apps. Try Bubble today.
Hi, I'm Jo from Face Theory. You're going to want to have a specific goal for your skincare routine. What do you want to achieve? Active ingredients are really strong, and if you're using too many at once, your skin can get overwhelmed. Don't overspend on products. Choose products that have scientific research behind them. At Face Theory, if you're not happy with a product, just say so, just give us a shout and we'll give you your money back, no problem.
I know you're gonna love this Kodak Dot Plus printer. You guys just connect it to your smartphone and then you're gonna use the Kodak Photo Print app. It's going to print you a 4x6 photo. I am just in awe. I love how these turned out. Also, the printer comes with a free cartridge of 10 photo sheets. I can assure you, you are going to love this printer as much as my family has. You guys have to check it out for yourself.
Streamline event and appointment booking with Amelia's sleek, modern, and fully customizable booking forms. Tailor the colors, fonts, and design to match your brand and seamlessly integrate with your WordPress website. Whether it's for events or appointments, Amelia makes booking simple, stylish, and perfectly aligned with your business. Enhance your booking experience today at WPAmelia.com. That's WPAMELIA.com. Amelia.
When you learn a language with Babbel, you start a journey that takes you further and further. Anytime and anywhere you wish. It's easy and fun. Broadens your horizons and keeps your brain fit. A journey into new thoughts, new cultures, new adventures. So what are you waiting for? Start your journey with Babbel now. Go to babbel.com or download the app.
BadCreditLoans.com is a pioneering service provider that has carved a reputation in the financial industry for its dedication to helping individuals with bad credit secure loans. By making timely repayments, borrowers can gradually repair their credit history, thereby increasing their chances of securing better loan terms in the future. BadCreditLoans.com serves as a beacon of hope for those with bad credit. Simple, fast, and reliable loan application process. And its commitment to responsible borrowing makes it a trusted partner in the journey towards financial stability.
It is the Pete Sousa Show. We are presented by Slovaceks and my main man, Eric Lopez, joining us right now from D1 Softball. Eric, man, great to see you, brother.
Pete, it's great to talk to you, which means I can't believe it. We're already in championship week. I felt like the other day the season started, but it's gone by fast, and we got an exciting conference championship to cover here this week.
Dude, I'm so stoked, and there's a lot of prolific players heading into this tournament. I want to know who you're most excited to see. You've seen them all over the course of the season, but as you get set to head to Oklahoma City, the softball capital of the world, for the Big 12 tournament, what player can you just not wait to see?
Gonna narrow it down to one? That's hard.
Yeah, you can give me your top two.
All right, well, I got to go with the obvious one, Nyjah Kennedy. I mean, she is worth watching in person, what she does, especially this year, Pete. We know what she could do with her arm, but her bat, she's had a pretty good year. I remember talking to Jerry Glasgow before the year. He's like, yeah, she can hit for power, and she has. So she's been a two-way player when she gets inserted into the lineup. So I'm excited to see that live in person. And I would say the other player to watch is Devin Netz, who might be one of the best two-way players in the country, might win Big 12 Player of the Year, ace for the Arizona Wildcats, but also has a big bat, middle of their lineup. So I would say those two would be a good start, but there's others.
So when you look at the bracket, how it breaks down so far, what team do you feel look, dude, you've been coming to this tournament for a very long time. I've been lucky enough. I got a chance to call it last year. I've been following it forever, obviously back again this year. But you came into the tournament, you'd look at Oklahoma and Texas, and especially Oklahoma. You'd say, okay, like, how is Oklahoma going to win? Okay, now we've got a wide open field, dude. What team do you think has the most advantageous edge coming into this?
It's a great question because it feels brand new, right? Like I remember a year ago by Thursday, once Oklahoma State was upset by BYU, it kind of felt inevitable it was going to be Oklahoma and Texas. I don't feel that way this year. I think Oklahoma State, you would think on geography alone, would have an edge, but they haven't played well in the Big 12 championships the last 2 years. So I think that's an interesting plot line to see if they could turn that around if they want to make a run here and win the Big 12 title. Something they do know the experience about from 2022 as a program. Texas Tech has the best player in the sport, so you always give the edge to that. But Arizona might have the better draw. They have the best offense in the Big 12, deep lineup, maybe the best outfield in the Big 12 with Dakota Kennedy. And, of course, you got Altmaier and Reagan Shockey with Netz, of course, being a two-way player and a lot of arms. I would say they're my favorites. I'm writing a preview for D1 softball, but they would be my slight favorites as far as just because I think they have the total package. Plus, Texas Tech has a brutal draw to get to the championship game, with potentially playing, if they even get past the Baylor-Kansas winner, they may have to play either Ruby Malin and Oklahoma State or Arizona State and Kenzie Brown. Not an easy draw for Texas Tech.
Yeah, and all these teams, as good as teams like Texas Tech and Arizona are, they're all beatable. They've been beaten at points this year, which is much different from the scenarios with Oklahoma in the past. When you look at Baylor, you know, a bubble team. We're here in Central Texas. A lot of people are honed in on this tournament to see how they can do and improve their standing to get in to the tournament. Where do you have the Bears right now?
They probably got to get to the Big 12 final to get to the bubble talk, and then, you know, automatic bid might have to be the rate. You know, this Iowa State series loss this weekend really hurt them. They were on the cusp. They got some great wins, but as we talk, they're a 500 overall record team with an RPI in the low 50s. They got to boost that up, and, you know, they're going to have to beat Kansas, and they're going to have to upset Texas Tech to get, and that gets them into the semifinal. Then you're probably going to have to play either Oklahoma State or Arizona State. Got to win that. That's how you get yourself in that large spot, I think, is to get to the Big 12 final. But the fact, Pete, that we're even having this conversation, considering the injuries that Baylor has had this year, is pretty remarkable. I mean, I think Glenn Morris basically had to depend on Lily Walker. I feel like every time I tune into Baylor, she's pitching. So, unfortunately, that's the case because of the injuries they've had. Offensively, they've had some nagging injuries. Govan wasn't healthy to start the year, so the injuries decimated this team. And the fact that we're even having this conversation is a credit to Glenn Moore and the job they've done, because they played some good softball in the second half of the year, and I think do pose a threat, assuming they get past Kansas, for Texas Tech in that quarterfinal.
Lily Walker is a great story, by the way, going to Oklahoma City. She's got relatives. Part of her heritage is like a Chickasaw Nation, Native American, not too far from where the tournament obviously being played. She's an Oklahoma native, helped Duke get to the Women's College World Series last year. I like her odds, and I love how you mentioned that. Baylor's got to beat Kansas, and then they'll have to beat Texas Tech. But as far as being ready for this moment, they've got the woman in the circle to turn the keys over to that can hopefully turn in a couple big-time performances. Other teams I want to look at on the bubble, I had a chance to talk to Coach Gordon Eakin yesterday as we're getting ready for this. I think he feels like, of course, his team should get in because he's the BYU's coach. How does Eric Lopez feel about BYU getting in?
Right now, I got them as my first team out when my bracketology comes out this week. So they're right in the cusp. The thing that hurts them, Pete, is their non-conference schedule strength. It's, I believe, 190-something when I last checked. That's not good. The committee frowns on that. But they have some good wins. They have wins over Washington. They have wins over at Arizona State. They got wins against UCF. So they have the wins. I think they got to get to the Big 12 final. You look at their draw. They open with Houston. That's a must-win for them. They cannot lose that game. Then if they win that, they get Iowa State. And boy, Iowa State's been the surprise of the Big 12. I think Jamie Pinkerton should win Coach of the Year. That's a dangerous game for BYU, but Iowa State's in the 60s. So it's a very favorable draw for BYU as far as a path to get to the semifinal. And then maybe you play Arizona, and if you upset Arizona, boom, that's maybe that marquee win that gets you in to the field of 64. But I think they got to make a run here in the Big 12. But they're certainly capable. Remember, Pete, last year they made a run to the semifinal. So it should not be a surprise if they do make a run.
What do you think it would mean for BYU to get back to the tournament? I mean, like, what is it? I think that, and give me some grace here, but like 18 straight years for Coach Eakin, and then now 3 straight where they haven't made it. Like, how important is it for that program to punch their ticket to the field of 64 again?
I mean, it's significant considering where they came from. They were in the West Coast Conference. I think people forget that, in softball, they were in the West Coast Conference, which is a very lower level softball league, in the 20s as far as conference is concerned. So to go from there and to the Big 12, I'll be honest, I think a lot of people, myself included, are surprised how competitive they've been so quickly 2 years into the Big 12, considering the jump that they had. It would be the equivalent, Pete, of a college football or basketball program coming from a lower level conference. Let's use the basketball reference. Imagine a basketball program going from the ASUN straight to the Big 12. That'd be a huge jump, right? Same here. And the fact that they're in the mix here, and finished sixth in the Big 12 as a credit to Gordon Eakin. So yeah, I think it'd be pretty big for them to get over that hump and say, yeah, we've not only can compete at this level, but we can get back to what we used to be, and that's in the tournament consistently.
One of the teams I'm so excited to see, because I haven't seen them at all this year, is Arizona State. Obviously, a new addition to the Big 12 along with Arizona this year. What are your feelings about the Sun Devils? Do you see them as a shoo-in to get to the NCAA tournament, and what are your expectations of them coming to Oklahoma City? First time for Coach Bartlett as a head coach in Oklahoma City.
I have them in. I think they should be in. I think they have like 9 top 50 wins. They got great wins on their resume. Finished top 5. And really, you mentioned Megan Bartlett. Of course, she's been in the Big 12 before when she was the assistant at Texas a couple of years ago. Kenzie Brown's the name to watch. She's healthy this year. She wasn't healthy last year. She missed all of last year. She's healthy this year. She's going to be an all Big 12 pitcher. By the way, folks in Oklahoma, in the area, Thursday morning, get out of work early. Go to Oklahoma State, Arizona State early. You can still listen to Pete on the broadcast on the phone, but I'm telling you, go watch Kenzie Brown against potentially Ruby Malin. That might be one of the best matchups in the entire country on Thursday. But they have a good offense. Kelsey Hall, Tanya Windle and company, a very young group. Megan Bartlett's doing a great job recruiting and getting Arizona State back to where they used to be. They're in. To me, the question with them is, are they a 2 seed or a 3 seed? And that might be dictated by how they do this week.
How about the squad in your backyard? You don't know anybody better than you do. The folks in Orlando, UCF, Cindy Ball Malone. They just continue to get better and better and better. And you look at their RPI now, it's among the tops in the Big 12. I mean, they're a shoo-in for the tournament. What are your expectations of the Knights?
Unbelievable job by Coach Ball Malone. They graduated 11 seniors from last year. People on the outside thinking this is a rebuild year. And here they are, 12-12. They have 29 in the RPI, 11 top 50 wins, 5 quad 1 wins, which are wins against the top 25, with a very young team led by a freshman by the name of Isabella Vega, who could win Big 12 Freshman of the Year. She was a national top 25 finalist for Freshman of the Year. She has been tremendous, a 1-2 punch with her and the senior, Caitlin Felton. And then offensively, they've come around in the last month. You know about Sierra Humphreys. She's a talent. But the freshmen, Izzy Mertez, Beth Damon, have really stepped up offensively. A couple of weeks ago, they were down 11-0 against Stetson in the 3rd inning and exploded to come all the way back to make the greatest comeback in program history, winning at 14-13. And then this past weekend against Kansas, they were down in the 7th inning, both on Saturday and Sunday games, came back, scored runs. Kendall Yarnell, the kid from Kansas, not miles away from Lawrence, hits a pinch hit 3-run homer. Their offense has come to life. This is a dangerous team. And remember, they play Utah to start. If they get past that game, they would get Arizona. They beat Arizona 2 out of 3 in Tucson earlier in the year in the Big 12. So they've got the arms, and their offense has come to life. This is a dangerous UCF team if you're looking for a sleeper.
Coach Ball Malone is pretty low-key, right? Tough coach, hard-nosed. Being around her all season and seeing how this team has elevated and taken flight, you know her, how excited do you think she is, even if she's trying to hide it a little bit?
I think she's feeling good about the last couple of weeks. I know she wasn't happy about a month ago because there was some kind of roller coaster there, which you would expect for some youth. But I think she likes where they're peaking right now at the right time. And she challenges her team. Right now, they have the, I believe, 6th or 7th toughest non-conference schedule in the country. I think they're 12th or 13th overall in toughest schedule. And they've done this with this young nucleus that they have. A majority of their offense and production comes from freshmen and sophomores. So the future is very bright here at UCF. And I think she's excited. This will be the 5th straight NCAA tournament appearance for this program. The previous best was 3 years in a row. I think she's shown she's one of the best coaches in the country. And I think you've shown that with how they're developing players and evaluating talent and recruiting. And I think UCF is certainly right there at the top there for the Big 12 moving forward.
So I'm calling the series with Kat Osterman. How good, give people an idea, how good was Kat Osterman in the circle?
Maybe the GOAT, that might be a term to use, the GOAT. I mean, when you think softball, she's the first name that comes up. I mean, that's without question that lefty, that intimidating look and just dominating offenses. I think she is without question the face and in a lot of ways, the voice of softball. And I think it's exciting. I think the Big 12 should be fortunate. And it's fitting that she's part of the Big 12 championship. She made her name in the Big 12. She loves the Big 12. I think if you ask her about that, and I think it's a blessing for, if you're the Big 12 conference, to have Kat Osterman as part of your coverage.
All right, Eric Lopez, D1 softball. You got an article coming up to preview the tournament.
Yep.
Are you going to do a 10-12 podcast for a Big 12 tourney preview? What do you got next?
I got a bracketology, so I got to wear that hat. And then I also got the In the Circle podcast. We'll be doing live shows from the Oklahoma City. We have to bring you in for one of those live shows. So we got
Let's go.
Okay. Well, we'll text each other there. We'll make that happen. Yeah. So we got some live shows going on, but we'll also do bracketology. And like you mentioned, the article I got on D1 softball previewing the Big 12 tournament. So it's a busy time, but it's an exciting time.
Where can people find you to follow you on social media?
Eric Lopez ELO, ELO, with Eric on all your social media platforms. That's the best, easiest place to find me.
All right, nobody does it better than Eric Lopez, man. I so appreciate you taking the time, and I look forward to seeing you in OKC, brother.
Anytime, buddy. Yeah, look forward to seeing you in person this week.
All right, bud. Eric Lopez. The guy's lights out, dude. I mean, he is so good getting you ready for college softball. Not only does he get you excited, but he gets you up to speed and gets you ready. If you're watching right now, we're live on X. It's so cool, all the engagement we're getting and all the views. Make sure you like and subscribe on YouTube. That would be a huge part to have you as part of the whole mission here and have you part of the Army. We love, the fact that people are actually involved and watching this and interested is like, I'm delighted about that. I know Scotty is too. We love it. So we're going to keep it rolling after this. We've got a movie review. If you made it to the movies this weekend and you saw Thunderbolts, Scotty Swingler has a review. No spoilers, just straight gas. Pete Sousa Show, presented by Savachix, coming back after this.
Did you know nearly all stock price changes of 10% or more result from a single news headline? These news catalysts create trading opportunities every day. All you need is a little help to reach out and take them. It doesn't matter if your investment budget is small or big. All you need is Benzinga Pro and its powerful news alerts, price tracking, and portfolio monitoring. Subscribe now, and we'll skyrocket your portfolio today.
OsleyMD.com. I've always had thin hair my whole life. It breaks off at a certain length. In the last 6 months, I've noticed it just really bad. I mean, you could totally see it. I wear a hat a lot. I tried several different products. My experience with the Bosley MD hair regrowth kit was amazing. It was easy to use. It let me take off my hat. I could go in public and have my picture taken and feel normal again. OsleyMD.com.
Golf Partner, the world's largest golf store network, offers more purchasing opportunities than anywhere else. With a dominant market share and a wider selection of quality secondhand golf clubs than our competitors, we make it easy for you to enjoy the game with affordable, top-quality equipment. Join us at GolfPartnerUSA.com and discover why we're the trusted choice for golf lovers worldwide. That's GolfPartnerUSA.com. Golf Partner.
Since 2003, Bluehost has been empowering people to harness their brands online with innovative web hosting solutions. Trusted by over 2 million users, we're the longest-running WordPress.org recommended host. With Bluehost, you get a safer, better web experience, supported by the world's most popular site builder, and backed by our commitment to open source projects. Visit Bluehost.com today and take your website to the next level.
Experience the future of secure private cloud storage with Internex. Protect your files with end-to-end encryption, ensuring your data stays private and accessible only to you. Enjoy seamless, fast storage without compromising security. Visit Internex.com today and take control of your digital life. That's INTERNXT.com today.
Apollo Neuro is a new kind of wearable that helps your body recover from stress. It's like a wearable hug for your nervous system that helps you calm down and feel better. The Apollo wearable will send gentle vibrations to your body, like a song you can feel instead of hear. You feel better, you sleep better, and you can get back to being yourself. Learn more at apolloneuro.com.
Protect your online privacy with NordVPN. Browse securely, access content from anywhere, and keep your data safe with military-grade encryption. Whether at home or on the go, NordVPN ensures your digital freedom. Stay secure. Download NordVPN today at nordvpn.com. That's NORDVPN.com. Elevate your experience with Grenco Science, the leaders in cutting-edge vaporizers. Whether you're at home or on the go, our sleek, powerful devices deliver smooth, consistent hits every time. Quality you can trust, innovation you can feel. Grenco Science. Take your vapor game to the next level. Visit us at grencoscience.com.
It all began with a simple idea, cutting handles off old ski sticks to create better pull-up bars. This sparked the creation of the revolutionary Angles 90 handles. After testing over 70 prototypes with 300 athletes, our patented handles were launched in 2018. We continue to push the boundaries of strength training. Join us in making your training more natural and effective. Visit Angles90.com to learn more and revolutionize your workout.
All right, Pete Sousa Show continues, presented by Slovacics. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Quick note about Bill Belichick. A little update over the weekend. You get so much media hitting your Twitter and X and, all your scrolling. And sometimes when you get to the end of the internet, you find yourself reading about Bill Belichick again. So I do have a New York Times review for his book. David Ubben is the writer. Forgive me if the pronunciation is wrong. Yeah, it is okay. He said, the headline, so he didn't write the headline, but Bill Belichick's book is insightful and even fun, but no autobiography or tell-all. And honestly, I guess this is like the weirdo in me that likes like the underbelly of sports and like the gossip. But this article starts off, I'm quoting, "What doesn't show up in any of the 289 pages of Bill Belichick's book? Any references, veiled or explicit, to Spygate, Deflategate, or Aaron Hernandez scandals. And, of course, Patriots owner Robert Kraft. Malcolm Butler and, yes, Jordan Hudson get shout-outs in the closing acknowledgments, but there's no discussion of why Belichick's starting cornerback and Super Bowl hero was unceremoniously benched for the Patriots' loss against the Eagles." I skipped the Roman numerals because I used to be able to read them, but then they got so crazy. I can't anymore. But you know the Super Bowls I'm talking about. Look, I'm sure, and I may listen to this book at some point because I'm sure it'll probably make me a better, I don't know. It'll make me more knowledgeable as far as football is concerned, and I'm here for that because Bill Belichick's a genius. But I do want to know about Malcolm Butler. Look, why can't we talk about that? Why did you bench Malcolm Butler? The Hernandez stuff I get. Spygate, you should talk about that, dude. You're almost 80 years old. Like, come on, let's hear a little bit. Deflategate, yes. The Hernandez thing, I get that that's just gross and radioactive, and nobody wants that. That's so dark. I almost understand that. But the other stuff, he should weigh in on. One other development over the weekend that was reported by The Athletic is that, and I know this dude because he worked at USA Basketball before I did, and he was a PR guy for the Bulls and then the Knicks. The guy's a genius. Brandon Faber, a PR guy, was with the Giants and is no longer with the Giants. And the guy's so good at his job that he has been consulting Belichick, I guess, over the last 6 months or 7 months. And maybe Brandon could be taking over most of Belichick's PR efforts. And that would be great. I'm not saying that, like, this Jordan Hudson situation needs to totally dissolve. They're in love, and far be it for me to get in the way of what the heart wants. It's a little much, the age difference, half a century. That's a lot, but at the same time, it certainly doesn't need to be right in the middle of it, out in front. I mean, anybody puts their relationship like that out in front like that all the time, you're going to get some blowback, and maybe he doesn't care. But I know the ACC preseason polls or Coach of the Year polls were out, and he's probably around the middle of the pack. I saw that headline. But, all right, Scotty went to the movies this weekend, and he saw is it Thunderbolt or Thunderbolts?
Thunderbolts.
All right. I'll give you 60 seconds. Okay. Tell me why the hell I should go see this movie.
I will. Marvel decided they can make movies with a real human message that's relatable. And so what this is, it is an art film about mental health and the importance of community in overcoming our mental health obstacles that is just packaged in a superhero movie.
You didn't even. All you
I didn't
needed
need
was
60
like,
seconds.
you
That's
need like
enough.
25
You should go for that.
All right, so that's pretty good. Is this the most layered Marvel movie that you've ever seen?
I'd have to think really hard about ever. Black Panther immediately comes to mind, right? But I would say it might be. It might be. It feels like a human, artistic, again, art film kind of wrapped up in a superhero, package.
Yeah.
But it feels like it's almost disguised as a superhero movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Okay.
very good. In fact, one of the biggest criticisms I've seen of the movie is the only thing that would make this movie better is if it wasn't part of the MCU. If it wasn't,
because then people like me would go see it.
You should still go see it.
But I got to tell you, I have like almost like an aversion to the Marvel movies, and I don't like. I just know that in the past I haven't liked some of them because I'm more of like this is my own stuff too. I'm more like a nonfiction guy. Even going to see Sinners, I thought the second half of the movie, I appreciated it, but I was like, whoa, this is so out there. I like, for whatever reason, I like stuff that could actually happen here on planet Earth.
Got it. Yeah.
So and my mind has trouble.
It might not be your thing. But if you look at it as metaphor, and I can't say much more without spoiling it. There are characters and moments in the movie that are fantastical, that are metaphor for what happens inside a person.
Okay.
And that's part of why I loved it so much.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's done very tastefully, very well.
Who wins the movie? Like actor. So you don't have to give anything away. What actor were you blown away by?
Lewis Pullman.
Who's that?
Bill Pullman?
Yeah.
It's his son.
Oh, really?
Yep. He was in Top Gun Maverick a couple years ago as one of the supporting characters. He plays the antagonist in this film. And
is this his first big role? I mean, obviously Top Gun Maverick.
I would say it's his biggest role. I
Yeah.
don't think first big role is not, but it is his biggest role. And he actually it was a role that originally went to Stephen Ewan, if you know who that is, from The Walking Dead and Invincible and some other things.
Go ahead.
And he had to drop out during the strikes and stuff. There was some kind of Lewis Pullman took the role, and he's incredible.
Stephen Ewing?
Yes.
Oh yeah, I know this.
Yeah. Anyway, I think Pullman steals the movie. It's also like I think I told you this before. I went and saw it last weekend. I'm a big Florence Pugh guy. Just I think she might be perfection.
Apparently,
embodied.
most red-blooded Americans are.
Yeah, well, I think she might be perfection embodied in a human being, and she just crushed it. Like, she is the lead. I mean, it's a team-up movie, but it is her movie. She is very much the central. She is the character through whom you're watching the whole movie take place, and she's delightful and wonderful, and every bit the leading woman Hollywood wants her to be. She's
running
also
time.
It's about 2 hours.
Okay, not too long.
It's actually really not. In fact, it ended so abruptly. I wanted like 20 more minutes.
Really?
Yeah.
How crowded was the theater?
Packed. Yeah.
Did you see it like Friday?
I did Friday night with some buddies.
Yeah. Now a trip to the movies. Do you guys go imbibe a little bit before, hang out?
Yeah, we
have
did.
a couple drinks.
Yeah, we did. Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly right.
Talk about it, and then after the movie, do you get together and talk about it?
We did not Friday because it was late, but we probably will this week.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you kind of have like a
and
round
I
table?
have to eat popcorn at the movies. I'm sorry, it's overpriced. I get it.
I get it.
Dude, there is still no better. I have never had better popcorn in the world than at the Cinemark.
No.
With all the fake butter in there, it's the best.
Are you a Cinemark? I'm gonna go to the movies and get the popcorn and take it home with me and watch TV. Have you ever done that?
My wife has.
Okay.
I have not.
Yeah. I've never done it.
Bear the Truth asked kids movie ? I would say depends on what age we're talking about. It is not as kid friendly as a lot of Marvel movies.
Okay.
But it's mostly thematic.
What's it rated?
It's PG-13.
Okay.
I mean, there's nothing in there that's gonna like freak your kids out.
Yeah.
But I would say the themes again. It is by far the best Marvel movie since Black Panther, certainly, of exploring very, very deep adult themes, kind of in the veneer of a superhero movie.
Are we in a world now? Are we moving towards a world where a Marvel movie could get an Oscar nomination?
I think we were. Black Panther got nominated for Best Picture, so I think we were on that trajectory. And frankly, most of the Marvel movies in the past 4 or 5 years have not been that level.
Okay.
They've really taken a step back. They've actually made some publicity this week talking about, and this is what I thought you were going to say before you talked about what kind of movies you like. It's too much homework now for people to keep up with all the films.
Yeah.
So they're going to try to figure out how to make them more, I would say,
Nice.
isolated. Where like
standalone-ish.
And I would say Thunderbolts, it is connected. If you know what's going on in the whole world, it's interesting. They tease the next movie at the end, of course.
Okay.
But it works as its own movie, and I think if one was going to get nominated in the past 5 years, it is this one, but I don't think it will be this one.
All right, but you're saying go see Thunderbolts,
dude. And I'll just say this: I am a shill for like superhero movies. I love them. That even the average ones I think are pretty fun.
Yeah.
This one shocked me. I expected like a mediocre popcorn flick.
Yeah.
And I cried twice. I had to confront it. It is really. How do you deal with your past?
Yeah.
Deal with your mental health.
Yeah.
And walk forward into your future. It's awesome. I will probably go watch it again this week.
Let's go, Scotty. All right, and by the way, Scotty, this is in no way directed at him. But if you want to reflect, go listen to the Payoff with Pete, Stories of Sobriety. Great place to go and get a look at the layers of other human beings and how they confronted their past of alcohol addiction, like myself. And tried to conquer it, right? That's a good time for a plug. Scotty says, yeah. All right, we got to go. We'll be back tomorrow. Like and subscribe. Seriously, so appreciate people hanging in there and watching with us. And, of course, appreciate Slovacics and all our sponsors. We will be back tomorrow. Have a great day.
It's the Pete Sousa Show. Sports.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extra Co. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference because my stress level, when we shut down, to afterwards was night and day.
Our experience with Extra Co. has been phenomenal since the very beginning, so we love Extra Co.
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at 70 miles an hour. I was injured, had a concussion. The insurance company, they delayed. They were playing games from the initial conversation. They weren't going to help me. The biggest thing I learned through this is that you can't go through this alone. I called Daniel Stark. They were going to help me, and everything was going to be all right. Daniel Stark got me 10 times the insurance company offered.
The difference is Stark.
We are Rogue Media Sports.